Live from the Channel 4 studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts now with breaking news.
Flames erupt at an apartment building popular with college students in the Fenway tonight. Firefighters had to evacuate the building, and at one point they pulled back into a strictly defensive stance. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken MacLeod.
And I'm Katie Brace. Northeastern is now helping displaced students find a place to stay for at least tonight. WBZ's Tiffany Chan is on the scene on Hemingway Street with the latest. Tiffany.
Ken, Katie, a massive fire broke out here at 104 Hemingway Street. We're told it's a private apartment building rented mainly to college students from Northeastern, Berkeley, and Emerson. I'm going to step aside so you can see the massive fire response that's underway at this point. A lot of smoke just billowing out of the roof of this building. You can see multiple ladders up. The fire commissioner coming out here telling us just moments ago that the fire started in the second floor and quickly spread to other parts of the building. Firefighters up in ladders, and the weather certainly did not help their cause. Smoke and the wind just fanning the flames and also making the smoke so unbearable. At times, we couldn't even see the building or the fire trucks that's right in front of us. We're told 8 to 10 residents were taken to the hospital, mainly from smoke inhalation. Another firefighter was also taken to the hospital from lacerations. A total of 7 people live in this building. Northeastern University stepping up to help some of those students without a place to live tonight. We spoke with one person who was just walking down the alley and heard one of the windows break out. Take a listen.
It's terrifying. You know, it's the time of the year where a lot of the heaters are getting turned on apartments and residence halls around here. And this is the biggest fear. It's why we have so many policies at Northeastern to protect against fires.
Yeah, displaced students stranded outside for hours. They heard those windows shatter. They heard people screaming for help from the top of the building. The fire commissioner telling us today that this building is a complete loss, multi-million dollars in damages. In Boston, I'm Tiffany Chan for WBZ News.
The other big story tonight, an October nor'easter has us on the storm watch weather alert. High winds knocking down trees and kicking up some rough surf, topped off with pouring rain this Saturday. It's the trifecta. The good news is, though, that the storm is expected to ease out through the night.
Meteorologist Jacob Wycoff is tracking this October nor'easter. He is here now with more. Jake?
Ken and Katie, the good thing is this is a wet nor'easter versus a white nor'easter. And come 1 or 2 months from now, we're going to be dealing with the snow. This is just a rain and wind maker. You can see some of that rain streaming off the oceans and off the bay. It has been raining off and on throughout the entire afternoon. You can see some of these storm reports that we've seen. The wind knocking over some trees, onto streets, onto telephone wires. We've also seen some wind gusts anywhere from 50 to 60 plus miles per hour. So there is a high wind warning out through Cape Ann stretching into Boston. That's where we could see some additional gusts over 60 miles per hour. Elsewhere, just a wind advisory gust 45 plus miles per hour. So we are going to see those winds calming down as we go into the next couple of hours. Wellfleet, the big winner, if you can call it that, 65 for a gust. Nantucket Harbor at 62 and Rockport at 55. The other threat that we had was the rain, and we've already picked up 2+ inches of rain in some spots. Temperatures have also been on the increase throughout the day. Flash flood watches remain in effect until 8 o'clock, stretching through the south coast into the Cape, the islands. We will see those expire as the rain starts to wind down just a little bit. And that's what we see on our hour-by-hour forecast. Rain becomes spotty into the overnight, starting to see actually a little sunshine by the time we get into tomorrow. And tomorrow, much warmer than what we saw into the afternoon today. So tonight, the rain winds down, patchy fog, upper 40s for overnight lows. And then tomorrow, we are back into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Still a chilly day as you go into the Worcester Hills, only in the upper 40s and low 50s. Still, though, starting to see that trend of a little bit warmer temperatures building back in, especially as we get into Thursday. Notice how the jet stream allows some warmer air to pile on in. Check out your 7-day forecast, where we're actually in the middle to low 60s for Halloween on Wednesday. And then by Thursday, we're near 70 degrees with an afternoon chance for some showers. Ken and Katie, back to you.
All right, Jake, thanks. And while we're talking about the storm, crews around the state are working to restore power tonight after strong winds brought down trees on utility lines.
MEMA is reporting close to 14,000 customers are without power. WBZ's Paul Burton shows us the impact on the South Shore.
The winds were rocking on Saturday as a nor'easter barreled through the South Shore.
It's amazing, powerful, it's awesome.
Strong winds brought down this tree on Belgrade Drive in Rosendale and sent waves crashing over the seawall in Marshfield.
It was just getting overpowered. Yeah. And yeah, you gotta kind of know when to say when.
In Duxbury, these two windsurfers faced Mother Nature head on, but decided to call it quits.
It was very windy. I had a sail that was a little bit too big for today, but it was worth a try. Water's a little cold.
It's strong, but not too hard.
Small boats were being tossed by rough seas. At Brant Rock, the Venus 2 restaurant had a few patrons as town officials had to block roads leading to the Esplanade.
With the high winds and the rain and the water coming over, I think a big concern is the customers moving their vehicles and getting them out of here safely.
This seawall here at Brant Rock was recently repaired and is holding up well against this nor'easter. But city officials still warn residents, don't take this storm lightly.
If you want to take warning, make sure you have batteries for your flashlights and lights. If you have a generator, make sure you have gas. And, you know, if the flooding gets too bad, you know, call the EOC, call the police department, and we'll get first responders out to get you out of your house.
Concern is the water coming over the wall. We do have a brand new seawall up there, so it's certainly going to be a test for that.
With all this wind and rain, Jack Dillon had the right idea.
Stay in. Watch the Red Sox win.
In Marshfield, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
To some breaking news out of Pittsburgh now. That's where 11 people are dead and 6 others wounded after a shooting at a synagogue. Police say the gunman stormed into the Tree of Life congregation shouting, "All Jews must die," and then fired randomly. The gunman has now been identified as 46-year-old Robert Bowers.
And investigators say Bowers posted a message that targeted Jews on social media ahead of that shooting. Andy Rose has the latest.
A horrific act of hate.
It was police cars everywhere, there were guns drawn, rifles. I was surreal.
Multiple people were killed when a gunman opened fire inside a Jewish synagogue in Squirrel Hill, a historic Jewish neighborhood east of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
There were 11 fatalities as a result of the shooting incident. There were additionally 6 injuries, to include 4 of the police officers.
A local official said a worship service was in progress when the shooting began. 3 different congregations hold simultaneous Shabbat services in the building on a typical Saturday, according to a former president of the synagogue.
The people that are regulars there are people that the community loves and knows, and if any of them were injured, it's going to hit pretty hard.
A law enforcement official said the gunman, 46-year-old Robert Bowers, made anti-Jewish comments during the shooting.
There's a lot of anti-Semitism out there, and there's a lot of hate out there.
Authorities said the shooting will be prosecuted as a hate crime. President Trump condemned the act.
This wicked act of mass murder is pure evil.
Now federal investigators are combing through the suspect's social media postings, hoping to find clues about what motivated him to kill.
You have a situation here where you have disturbed minds with hate in their heart and guns in their hands.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
Governor Baker posted his reaction to the shooting on Twitter, saying, "I am horrified by the mass shooting in Pittsburgh, and my thoughts are with the victims, their families, and the first responders. We must work together to overcome this evil and violence."
The Pittsburgh shooting comes a day after federal prosecutors say the double murder at a Kentucky grocery store is being investigated as a possible hate crime. Police say Gregory Allen Bush killed 2 African Americans at the Kroger near Louisville on Wednesday. Officers say in the minutes before that shooting, Bush tried to get inside a predominantly black church.
The man suspected of sending more than a dozen explosive devices to high-profile Democrats is due in court on Monday. 56-year-old Cesar Sayoc was arrested Friday in South Florida after a 4-day nationwide manhunt. He's charged with 5 federal crimes and faces up to 48 years in prison. Sayoc was an active supporter of President Trump and frequently lashed out online against Democratic politicians.
Red Sox fans are shaking off that hangover today while setting their sights on coming back in Game 4 of the World Series.
The Sox and Dodgers battled it out for a record 7 hours and 20 minutes last night. The Dodgers beat the Sox 3-2 last night, getting a walk-off homer to win it in the bottom of the 18th inning. The game was longer than any other World Series game in history and 15 minutes longer than all 4 games of the 1939 World Series combined. Tonight's first pitch is set for 8:09 in Los Angeles.
Hopefully it will end before 3 in the morning.
Let's hope.
Well, thanks for logging on to CBSBoston.com.
We will have all the news for you tonight at 11 over on WBZ Channel 4 or at 8 on TV 38. Until then, hope you have a great evening.